Tim here from Caravan World. We're just outside Silverton in New South Wales on tour with this Wonderland RV XTR 2100C 2-bunk. Now this is the personal van for one of the company owners and is designed to be as capable off-grid as possible for a young touring family. Now there are a lot of technical details to justify its fairly hefty price, but before we go into that, we'll start with construction. Wonderland used structural grade ply in a notched framing method dubbed Wonderwall. The walls are clad in Diabond with polystyrene insulation where needed. The benefit is a rigid body that is well insulated with a small cost in weight compared to a fully composite panelled van. The floor and ceiling are fully composite panels with as few cutouts as possible to reduce chances of dust or water ingress. Speaking of dust, it has a Caravan DRS that unfortunately was playing up, which made life hard for Damien from Wonderland, who was along for the trip. So the body rides on a Road King chassis which is locally made in Victoria, and hanging off the chassis is Cruisemaster's ATX airbag suspension. Now this is the level 4 setup, which means it auto levels when you're underway. Everything's really neat and tidy as you'd expect from Wonderland. There's plenty of water capacity, but there looks like there's room for more should you want to option it on. It is one thing to have a well-built van, but another to be able to live in it. The Wonderland has been designed to take a family of 4 off-grid almost indefinitely. Starting with the power, it runs a 24-volt system built by EnerDrive. There are 1200 watts of solar on the roof, all 24 volt, feeding into 800 amp hours of lithium batteries. 2 inverters run different parts of the van, with a dedicated 2000 watt unit for the Thetford stovetop and a second 3000 watt unit for the Truma Aventa AC and the rest of the van. An Eberspacher hydronic water heater gives near instant hot water and doubles as a space heater. Storage is abundant, and extras like the ISI bike rack add a lot of value. Fluid capacities are not groundbreakingly high, but then this Wonderland has the ability to lift and filter water from creeks and streams, and with the dedicated drinking tank, there is an ability to extend stays if you want to. Speaking of extended stays, people often forget about the toilet. Most cassette types will fill up in a few days, so this van uses a composting type that should see up to 30 days. And for fun, because clearly cost was no limit in this van, it has an impressive stereo system from Fusion that even includes a 10-inch amp, but it's still classy inside. This particular 2100 has been optioned as a storage king. Now that means there's additional storage around the queen bed, which affords an extra tunnel boot underneath. Now in the back, opposite the twin bunks, is an ensuite, and one of my standout favourite details in there is the composting toilet, which should afford you about 30 days of use. Now in the kitchen, induction cooking. No oven, but there is an electric Weber outside if you want to do a roast. You'll have noticed the massive 4,500 kilo ATM, so already this is not a traditional tow vehicle ready van. You'll need a Ram, Silverado or truck to tow it, but with a decent allowance for fuel, as Damien saw around 30 litres per 100 kilometres travelled and more in a headwind. Ouch. The Ram did it well though. It kept up with the rest of the convoy without issue, and inside it's a nice place to be. Plus it has a huge payload, something a lot of bigger SUVs struggle with. It's been a dusty 8 days, as you can see. Now this was the first time this van hit the road, so there were a couple of teething problems. We lost a couple of tyres on the Ram, and the DRS system failed at one stage, causing quite a mess inside. But the bones of this van, it's fantastic. It's tough, it handled the conditions with no problems, and the electrical system, 24 volt all EnerDrive, it will power this van for days off grid. This has to be near or the perfect family tourer.